1-on-1 fabric, different kind of cloth. Cut out the wins, remember the loss. Hair on your face, don't make you a boss. Seen the bounce back, show you the ropes. No little spinners got me in the door. I like
It's your guy Famus AAA. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Before you subscribe, throw that straight right down the pipe. Make sure you hit that like button and share this with a friend of 5. Because we're going to talk boxing and we're going to keep it boxing. Make sure you hit the bell notification so you can get notified every time I drop some new content or a swaggy video like this. But let's get into it. A side versus B side. Talk of the town is the A side versus B side. But I want to know what's the obsession with the A side and B side. And you got Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford. Two guys that's looming in the 147-pound division. People want to see the fight. The fight fans want to see the fight. The people have been pushing for this fight. The people who've been asking and wanting and daunting and been like, oh my God, when are these two guys going to fight? And I understand that. But I think it comes a point in time where boxing just needs to put a halt in the gag order, in the confidentiality piece in the contract where fighters shouldn't be able to talk about the fights that's not actually made. If you get where I'm coming from. What I'm saying is, as far as the A side and B side talk, it shouldn't be known to the public. The pay-per-view numbers and whatever else, that's cool. But it shouldn't be so talked about and based upon for fight fans to be able to talk about this so much that we forget about that this is boxing. You're not a judge on the side of the ring. You're not the lawyer looking at the contract. You're not any of this. We have to keep it boxing and remain boxing. You know what I'm saying? This is guy right here that can possibly make this fight happen opposed to these two guys that you're talking about. This guy can potentially ruin, even though I got Spence beating Mr. Garcia, but he can step in and, take away your dreams. Y'all want to talk about this A side versus B side. And this don't only go for them, this goes for all fighters. Why are y'all so obsessed with talking about who's A side versus B side? As a man, when you look in the mirror and you look at the last hour of your life and you say, dang, I was just on YouTube talking about this guy's A side, this guy's B side. As long as the fight happens, it doesn't matter. A trainer does an interview and we go on and say, yeah, he's correct. This is why he's the A side. This is why he's the B side. And that's the main topic of what's going on. Listen, there's a task in front of you. This is how I know some people are not goal-orientated or task-orientated. Because if it came to that, you would say, you know what? He has a fight December 5th, and we'll see what's going down and how is it going down. Just because the media asks you something or the fans may rile you up or it's the talk of the town, don't mean that y'all got to be intervening like you're a judge or something. This A side versus B side is kind of feminish. You know what I'm saying? I would not sit around and be saying this guy has more pay-per-view numbers. This guy draws a bigger crowd. This guy draws... Who gives a... These are two top guys that need to fight each other. They should fight each other. And if they don't, I'm not going to have a heart attack about it. And if they do, I'm not going to be saying who's A side versus B side. I'm going to give my depiction of who I may think win, and whoever wins, wins. Whoever gets knocked out, knocked out. You know how you settle things? You know how we used to do it in the hood? Nobody used to say, I'm A side and you're B side. You get a pair of gloves and you throw them on. That's how you're going to see who's A side versus B side. Whoever comes out victorious at a fight. There is enough chicken, dollars, moolah, whatever you want to call it, in the pot for everyone to eat. So for this ego of not only the fighters but the fans Y'all come on and make this an ongoing thing and drag it on and be talking about it for days. Like, boxing is not business. In my aspect, I'm not getting a cut out of anything. I don't know if you are. If you bet, so be it. But a fight has to be made. So until then, why don't we talk about the skills of the fighters? Who has the better records? You know, the IQ of the fighters. Who's been put in tougher situations? Those are the things that I would like to see more and more and more and more of. And the task at hand, who provides better content when they're in the ring, when they're under pressure. You know, these are things that can be talked about all the time. But no, it's all, this guy made more money than this guy brought more fans than this guy. Who cares? None of that matters when you get inside the ring. Who cares? Kell Brook has been in bigger fights than Terence Crawford, and when he got in there, none of that mattered. He got chopped down like a tree. Mikey Garcia possibly had been in, you know, with the bigger names, or he had a bigger name than Errol Spence, and then what happened? And you can say what you want about both of those guys, but we just throwing examples out there. You know, Marquez been in there with one of the top guys who's still in boxing, and when Floyd got in there with that same guy, a.k.a. Pacquiao, what happened? So experience is just a limited edition. I don't care about how many belts. I don't care about any of that. I don't care about who's A side or B side. I just want the people slow down on the talk. Get some integrity in your heart. Be a man. Stop worrying about who has better numbers. Like, you already talking about two guys. Fine and dandy. But then on top of that, you're going to have the nerve to be talking about how much money he's making? You know, we need more female commentators if that's the case. And if that's the case, y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. Everything is still a sport, so where's my sportsmanship award? And just like that, Famus is